Nine knowledge is Ethiopian knowledge by nature, composed and disclosed by Ethiopians, that is, woolly-haired people. One of the major enemies of the Ethiopian race is ignorance. The words Cain and Negro spell the word ignorance because Cain, which is short for Caucasian and white man, produced ignorance and created the mental dependent called Negro. The enemy of an intelligent mind is ignorance. Therefore, nine knowledge provides the mental strength necessary to fight off this natural foe and help prepare a protective defense against it. Universal and natural knowledge, to be known as nine knowledge, is the resurrector of the mental dead called Negroes. Some people may wonder why the writer still uses the word Negro when referring to mentally dead woolly-haired people. It is because as long as woolly-haired people have negative enslaved minds, they are still Negroes, no matter what other names they choose to call themselves. And by calling themselves something other than Negro, deceives them into believing that they are not Negroes anymore. Therefore, the writer continues to call the mentally dead by the name Negro, for this emphasizes the fact that a person does not become something else just by changing his name, but by changing his mind instead. After the mind is changed by the knowledge of resurrection, then it is proper to change the name. When the negative enslaved mind of the Negro is changed by right knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, he will automatically cease being Negro, and everybody will know it by his words and works. Just to let you know, the writer is Afro Unu. The words and actions of this guy here are so negative and hateful and ignorant. He gets the title Negro, no doubt. He's also a longtime follower and supporter of the next person I'm going to show you in my video, which is Dwight York. With all the evidence and facts, and even Dwight York in front of the judge admitting his filthy crimes, this man cannot register these facts and will keep going and pushing and pretending this man is responsible for books written by Afro Unu. All because he can't accept facts. Oh, Dwight York. This guy has a laundry list of names. I don't even know where to begin. He had so many. Still a Negro. Look where he ended up. And look where his cult is. Still hanging on to religion and still being believers. In Noon, it teaches us that religion is a spell. Nawapians are heavy and deep under the spell of religion due to this name-changing pedophile that they adore and worship up to date. Oh yes, Malcolm X can get the Negro title. He was heavily into religion. And that is definitely a spell cast on our race. And in the nature books it also says a person can be only as just as or right as the knowledge he has access to. The two greatest powers in the universes are mind and sex. We have to get our mind in order with the correct information, which is nature knowledge. written by Afro Uno, dedicated to the Ethiopian race, but it's for all races. Everything begins in the mind, and you need that correct and positive information.
Brother Polite, how important was it for you to be out here, man? I know you're a very busy man. You got a lot of things on your plate.
It's extremely important because if it goes down, we need as much as soldiers here on deck. The message was important.
We know from reading the nature books that this type of setting with a bunch of Negroes is unacceptable and unintelligent. If anything pops off, our blood is going to be shed on them streets. We're outnumbered and we're outgunned. The advice this idiot, the king of Negroes, is giving to this young man is pure foolishness.
We gotta block their highways, we gotta boycott their stores, we gotta do whatever it is that we can do every day at a time. If we can do it legally, let's do it legally. If we have to pop off, we have to pop off. But as incumbent, whenever we have these remonstrances, that as much of us show up as possible,
right?
Just in case.
Just in case.
Police is negative.
Yes, sir.
But we can't be backing down. We gotta come out. So for those people that's just gonna complain and say we was marching, nah, we was teaching earlier.
Right.
Live
Exactly.
on TV before millions of people.
Exactly.
We taught in front of millions. You feel what I'm saying? And now we're walking en route to continue teaching because people come from all over town to hear us do what we gotta do for those who didn't catch us at the rally. We just don't want to take our cars. We just chose that we gonna walk to our next destination to continue educating our people. And in the process, we get to block the highway, a very important highway to them for their commerce, for people to make their bread. We walk through their community. Right now, we just coming into our section before we go to the church.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that we come out. Don't let nobody fool you, man. You gotta participate, man. Our ancestors did this shit. You feel what I'm saying? And whether you like it or not, it did move us forward at some point.
Right.
We the next generation.
Exactly.
You know, and we ain't sweet. I'm telling you, we in these Jake's face, letting them know what it is. We ready to pop off.
At any moment.
At any moment. You already know.
Yes, sir, man.
Brother,
Stay black, man. Preserve that essence.
The black woman is
God.
The black child is
God.
The black people are
God.
Everybody are
God.
Allah is
God.
Jah is
God.
God is
God.
God is
God.
God is
God.
What we're looking at right now is Negro mind, negative growth. Everything that's taking place here is negative. Polite's supposed to be a motivational speaker. He's motivating these people to do the wrong thing. The Negro will follow the Negro. Intelligence is supposed to recognize intelligence. There's no one intelligent here. If there was any intelligence here, we wouldn't see any black people in a large group getting ready to get themselves killed by listening to an idiot. And it says Brother Polite is all about his people. That was never true. It's all about him and what he can get from you. He loves money. He loves to deceive people. His time is up. Up to date. He has a court date coming up, 9/15/2021. And he's been accused of molesting a little girl. He's a Negro. He's also a Dwight York supporter of a pedophile. Overlooking DNA factual evidence.
Stay tight, stay tight.
We are the response. We are not the incident. We are the response to repeated incidents. We're the response to repeated injustices.
What do you want people to hear and see when they see this group?
Nothing. That we're U.S. citizens exercising our constitutional rights, and the color of our skin shouldn't make any difference.
Whew, more Negroes. What's repeating itself is our blood being shed over and over and over again due to our ignorance of spirits. I have to bring the spirits up. Spirits are real, spirits exist. Spirits are not in the favor of the African race at the present time. And I have to keep making that known. And there is a way to respond. That's mentally, not physically. Again, we're outnumbered and we're outgunned. Black people, you must know, our natural opposite, our natural enemy is the Caucasian race. Nature moves in opposites. The Caucasian is our complete opposite. So yes, our skin color does make a difference. Not only that, we should be building up in Africa with our own spiritual science, Noon, and Sound Right Reason, also known as Nupu. Africa is home. We are natural citizens in Africa. We have to fight mentally to get her back. Then physically, when the time is right and the minds are alike in the positive.
As your president, I would work along with anyone.
John Fitzgerald Johnson ran for president of the United States during the 2016 election with little success, but he still found a group to lead.
A lot of y'all said it's happening at the hands of the police.
Grandmaster Jay is the leader of a group known as the NFAC.
The NFAC is the name given to the coalition, and that stands for the Not Effing Around Coalition. That is a reflection of our attitude, the entire group. We're not effing around anymore with the judicial system that shortchanges us. We're not effing around anymore with the continued abuses within our community and the lack of respect for our men, women, and children. In other words, we're not effing around with the status quo anymore. We're going to change it one way or the other.
Large, armed black groups are not something often seen in the United States. The most well-known, the Black Panther Party for the Self-Defense, was established in 1966, but has since mostly disappeared.
As I said before, we are pro-protecting the black community.
Started in 2017, the group operates with a top-down structure. The NFAC has marched in Stone Mountain, Georgia, in Brunswick, Georgia for Ahmaud Arbery, Louisville, Kentucky, demanding more transparency in the Breonna Taylor case, and most recently in Lafayette, Louisiana, in the name of Trayford Pellerin.
There's always been a lot of talk for pro-Second Amendment, but you've obviously faced some different reactions based upon not only the size of the group, the skin tone of the group.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm black. More, no less. But first, I'm a U.S. citizen. I am someone who was born in this country under the Constitution. I should be afforded all of those rights. Nobody says anything when other demographics pick up weapons, decide to arm themselves and confront the government over anything from wearing a mask to being cooped up in the house. But when certain demographics arm themselves, all of a sudden people tend to act like the Constitution does not apply.
During one event, a member fainted and their gun discharged, injuring at least 2 people. No other incidents have been reported. The Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks armed groups, says it's aware of the NFAC, but does not yet have enough data to label the group. But Thomas Makaitis, a professor of history at DePaul University, who writes about violent extremism and groups, believes that the NFAC already stands apart from other armed groups across the country.
In one sense, it echoes the Panthers, but I think they're more heavily armed, they're more disciplined. Many of them are Army veteran or military veterans, but so far they've coordinated with the police. They've avoided engaging in violence and so on. And to be perfectly fair, there's not a moral equivalency here. The white militia movement is older, larger, probably more heavily armed, certainly more pervasive, and many more people, and it has been violent. The other thing I have to say, there's been some comments that have been a little questionable, but I don't see out of this African American militia an overtly racist ideology.
NFAC, negative name. The members have negative attitudes. And the energy is definitely negative. This is spirit beings at work. Spirit beings are a part of the negative forces of nature. Marching doesn't solve our problems. It's just a barometer for the Caucasian to see we are still spellbound and ignorant. This is Negro through and through. Not enough data, that just means, when he said not enough data to label the group, that just means we're waiting and watching. And Black Power means nothing over here in America. You could say that all day long, pump your fists up, be in groups chanting and getting loud. It means nothing. We are powerless. We have no power in America. We're at the bottom. We can see who's in charge. It makes no sense. Black power would mean much, much more in Africa, uniting in the positive on our own natural land, where we're natural citizens. It would make perfect sense. That's where we belong. I can't say it enough. These spirits got us over here looking cray-cray. Nupu is our God, and Noon is our science. That's our power right there.
Grandmaster Jay says his group is not looking for confrontation, but in one online video from the Stone Mountain protests, a member from the NFAC challenges white armed groups to show up. Jay declined to directly address details surrounding the video. He says when the NFAC gathers, they work with local law enforcement and city officials to create a buffer between them and any other groups. Members register their guns with the group and submit to several safety checks before marching. Law enforcement officials have told CNN the group has operated within the law during each of their marches.
This country was built on guns. This country was built on revolution. This world was built on people revolting against when they can't get justice or the answer.
Plenty is unknown about the group. They won't share their membership numbers or much about the group's inner workings. But Grandmaster Jay did tell us NFAC's age requirement dropped from 21 to 18, helping to add new members.
This is an exercise in forcing us to work with us, to build something to protect us, to defend us, to educate us. If it works, we get all the credit. If it fails, we have no one to blame but ourselves. It doesn't mean that we hate anyone else. It means that we have got to learn to love ourselves to get this job done.
What the mentally dead, the Negro, does not understand is that Caucasians are dedicated to keeping Ethiopians as ignorant as possible, especially if the person is militant or of a disagreeable nature against Caucasians. And this is one way the Caucasian tries to assure his continuous rule by ignorance and the gullible among us. This is what mentally dead Ethiopians look like. True peace, this is Tarbun Anubaha Nupu, and I'm just making it known.